up, everybody? We're back for another episode of the Eclectic Hour, except this time it's a little bit different. We're doing a coronavirus edition. Everyone in Florida is stuck inside their house. The governor, as of yesterday, issued a stay-at-home order, so we're all stuck in our house, just like most of you throughout the country and the world. So we figured, let's do like an impromptu little shoot. Let's do an episode, see how things go. So I brought Tyler back again, my brother, to give us a little, commentary. And we have three different perspectives here. I'm an independent entrepreneur. Tyler has a job, and he's actually working in the grocery area, the grocery field, helping the grocery stores and keeping those people stocked. And then James also, who's one of our good friends and close associates. He recently just got, some good news the past couple of days we're going to kind of talk about, and he's kind of been working independently and working for a small family business, so he has a different perspective on this whole situation and everything we're going through. So I thought it would be cool to kind of get us all together and talk about that and, our experiences and our perspectives. And I'd love to hear from you guys as well, what you're going through and sort of how you guys are taking this time. And we're going to talk a little bit about, what we're doing to fill up this time, how you can use this time to be a little more maybe progressive in what you're doing, so you're not just stuck in your house all day watching Netflix. I'm sure you might have already ran out of some stuff. I know I ran out of stuff the other day. Like, bro, this morning.
You can never run out of stuff.
I mean, it is true. There's a lot of stuff.
You haven't watched The Tiger King? Get on it.
I think everybody's watched The Tiger King, right? At this point.
Carol Baskins, is she her husband? That's what really matters.
The police seem to think so, man. They just reopened that case.
You never know.
I think so. I don't know. I kind of.
Whoa.
No spoilers.
I
haven't actually finished yet, so no spoilers.
No spoilers?
No spoilers.
What episode though?
I think I just started the first one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm real behind.
I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. It's one of those weird things, and the story it's very sensationalized on Netflix.
If we had Tiger King costumes, I would have dressed up in them today for sure.
Oh man, I heard everybody that was on that show was real pissed about it came out.
Amazon stopped shipping their mullets, so I can't get any fake mullets to dress up like the Tiger King, unfortunately.
Well, this morning I logged on too, and they had a ton. I don't know why.
Tiger King calling?
It is the Tiger King calling. When we went on.
Hello. This is the Tiger King from the correctional facilities.
No, actually,
I heard
he got hospitalized because he caught corona in prison.
Did he really?
Joe Exotic, yeah. I just
talking about corona, man.
I heard that he was really loving it though. Like I read
all his attention. No,
checked out it.
Well,
maybe some people flourish.
He said he was a gay redneck, bro. So you never know, man. He might be getting on. You never know in prison. Oh, in Oklahoma. You never know, man.
I said they said that he was relishing in his new fame. Well, and this is something I had this thought in the car
the other day,
guys.
In prison if you're famous, from what I heard. Unless you're Kodak famous or some kind of gang famous.
Sure, it depends on what you're famous for.
Yeah, what you're famous for a little bit.
Well, I was thinking this the other day when I was driving my car. I was like, well, in a way, people, this is you can be anything you want. Like this man in the documentary, all his friends were saying, he always wanted to be famous. Like that was one of the things that he always wanted. Well, he may be in prison for, 22 years or something that his sentence was, but man, I guess he achieved some of his goals or some of the things he wanted to do. He's international. He's famous.
That's like Monkey Paw, you got what you wish for, but at what price?
But
he became famous.
He definitely became famous. He definitely, a menagerie. Did you see the size of his menagerie is quite just awe-inspiring. The size. They call it a zoo, but they kept on calling it a zoo. But I have a weird.
It was a zoo.
Is it a zoo though?
Can it be a zoo if it's only one animal? If
it's one animal and it's one guy that just essentially got a big backyard and.
Oh really?
Yeah, he had a monkey.
Okay.
I guess I'm gonna go watch
it was a zoo. It was a whole zoo. They mainly focus on the tigers.
Okay.
Carol Baskins.
It was
big tigers. She only cares about saving tigers. She's like, monkeys, we don't care how much. We're only about the tigers. Okay. Horses? No, tigers. We're only saving the tigers.
And she's right there over there in Tampa too.
Right, she's right there in Tampa.
She's right there in Tampa too. We should.
She's riding her little bike around her little Peri Lake.
Man, I saw something too that all these other big cat rescue foundations are very quick to make these announcements hey, we have nothing to do with these other crazy people on this show. We're not those big cat rescue. We're different ones.
Man, I always thought it'd be also known in big cat. Then I seen all those people. I was like, these are the people in the big cat industry. I'm not cut out for this. Even if I wanted a tiger, I can't handle these people.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, man, owning a tiger would be cool. And I'm like, wait, these are the people that do the dealings.
I gotta deal with these guys. that might be.
But just like why too? I mean, like, can't you just get like a cat or a dog or something? Like, I don't know. Like
They do.
I get
They
it's
have
kinda
200
basic,
cats.
But,
They have
like,
200
a
African-
regular cat, like a normal cat, like not a cat that could kill you if it wanted to.
Cats from
Speaking
Africa,
of
cats
cats-
from China, cats from everywhere. Bro, I saw this thing that said cats can get coronavirus.
Dude, it seems like everything.
Everything. Like, well, I'm pretty sure.
I mean, the bat caused it in the first place, right?
So,
like,
dude, I don't even
animals-
think they know at this point. It seems so like I've seen so many different
Oh,
stories. I feel like nobody's for
that's-
sure on what happened, like how it started and everything. But man, is it crazy the way it spread?
It'll
no.
be interesting because like when they do testing on like on certain animals, you
Yeah.
know, like it doesn't always necessarily translate to that it'll have that effect on humans because you know different DNA in different animals obviously reacts differently to different things. But like if we have a virus that's so prevalent and can affect so many different species that way, you know, just think if we can kind of tap into that and reverse engineer that for vaccines or different things like, I mean, that could be really good. So, that I think keeping your eye on the silver linings is a big theme that is keeping people
I'll
sane
tell-
these days.
I'll tell you, kept their eye on the silver lining. These investment banks who are all like, this coronavirus is gonna screw everything up. Short the market, and made billions on people because they saw it coming from a mile away because they're so deeply invested in those networks. You know, like they knew about it coming, they knew what it would do.
Oh man,
And they
people
were
that
just
invest in IT infrastructure
Yeah, dude.
and these companies that, I mean, these are booming right now. Everybody's got to buy, you know, computers and Wi-Fi setups and all that for all their employees working from home. So I mean, you know, even in the downturn of a lot of industries, you know, there's still industries that are out there, still doing
Dude, who
well,
knew
you know, proliferating.
that the coronavirus would get Tekanshi 6ix9ine out of jail and make all
Did
those
it?
people who shorted Tesla winners. He got out of jail on house arrest for the rest of his
I saw
sentence
that on Snapchat.
because of the coronavirus.
I didn't even see that.
He got like
Crazy, dude.
and they're trying to get Melly.
Taking lives and saving
They're trying to
lives.
get Melly out too.
Yeah, I saw
on
he got it,
he's
whatever.
trying to, but I was like, I don't know. He's facing like, we'll see how that goes. He's facing some pretty heavy charges.
Dude, can we
We'll see
talk
if it's-
about how Tekanshi 6ix9ine is not dead yet? Like, I thought
Well,
snitches
he's
get
jail.
stitches. What happened
He
to
was in
that?
solitary, I think, this whole
Oh,
time.
yeah?
So now that he's out, would be his best
That makes
chance
sense.
for it to
Yeah.
go down. I mean, if any time.
Yeah, definitely.
But I really,
that was-
honestly
yeah.
think
the
he's gonna sell
coronavirus
just
doesn't
as well.
get you.
I think he's gonna sell just as well. Because
Yeah.
even if you're not connected in the industry, nobody cares anymore on like streaming platforms. They don't care where you
Yeah.
think Lil Yachty came from. You think he's from the hood? Are you serious? He's like a
Right.
child. Like he didn't come from anything. He didn't do anything. Like a lot of these dudes didn't necessarily do anything crazy. You know, like they were just great rappers and stuff. And like that happens nowadays.
No,
You
man,
have
that was
these
viral
internet
marketing.
rappers.
That's like
It's viral marketing,
2000s
yeah.
viral marketing is
For
what
sure,
bred
you know.
this kind of generation of
Well, the other-
superstars.
The other side of it is like, I mean, there is real world implications for the things that you do on screen, and there can be real world implications for the things that you do out there for the sake of entertainment. But at the same time, like, I mean, I'm kind of of the same opinion. I'm not sure. I'm kind of uncertain as to what could happen. I don't see anything crazy happening. I mean, he's definitely going to get threats. He's definitely going to deal with a lot of pushback. But I mean, there's some heavy hitters within the industry
I mean, somebody
who need
might-
to support his.
Somebody might
comeback.
try to kill him, but there's definitely a record company who's going to sell the records because they're going to make money.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
so it, you know, like
As long as he stays alive long
Yeah,
enough
he
to get
gotta
that
pay
book
him.
deal or
Yeah,
movie
they'll
out
pay
or
him,
whatever,
whatever.
I mean, everybody wants to hear that.
exactly.
Yeah. So I
He's
think
gonna
he'll
make
come
plenty
back.
of money. It's end up not gonna matter. He might get killed eventually by somebody else, but like with the amount of money I think he's gonna end up making, I think he'll have security and be fine. Nowadays with streaming and stuff,
Oh, yeah.
I think he'll be just fine. Like,
No, I
he's a personality now. He was always a personality. He
Yeah.
became a gangster after he was a rapper to be protected because he was a rapper. And then he turned into a gangster and went to jail, and now he's back out just being a rapper. So like this
Yeah.
dude just flipping in and out, and he's been doing all right, I guess, along the way. I mean, for as good as you can do for doing some shit like that.
Yeah.
Man, that's big
He
until
must
you
have
make it
snitched a lot.
right there.
Dude, that's faking it until you make it. If I ever seen it right there, I mean, that's.
And then,
next
and
level.
well, I mean, like the book deal's gotta come soon, though. Honestly, like, I mean, it's.
I'm sure. I'm
it's-
sure he's been writing while he's in there. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
what else does he have to do?
Right.
I mean,
Um,
writing that and music.
I mean, that. Speaking
Sure,
of
he won't
that,
come out
speaking
ripped up like Gucci Mane or anything.
Oh, no.
You know?
What a
speaking of-
transformation. That's like straight up a caterpillar into a butterfly.
Let's-
I'm surprised I haven't seen Gucci Mane coronavirus.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's talk a little bit about that then. You know, you talk about, you know, you're like, he's probably gonna come out tons of music, tons of probably the books already half written. You know, that's kind of the same thing. We're living in this, you know, a little bit of self-isolation here, isolation with your family and friends, and like, you probably
Kind of,
use that kind of. I mean, not to the same. I mean, I even made a remark the other day to a friend, and I was like, you know, I kind of feel like it's kind of like prison, not necessarily the same way, but like I went outside the other day and I was exercising, and like me and Nita were outside just exercising. The police, two police came by and they waved at us and they saw us, and like another police officer, he was watching us and kept getting closer and closer as we were just exercising. Nobody outside. We were in a big, huge parking lot, and nobody around us. But definitely more heightened sense of like security and everywhere. I mean, I'm going to Publix and there's 2 cop cars outside of Publix in the parking lot. So it kind of feels like they're definitely taking it very serious, and I think everyone should take it seriously to protect themselves and protect others. But I also think, it feels like a little bit, it kind of almost makes me feel a little, I don't know what the word I'm searching for is. It makes you feel almost, I don't know, like it's like a Big Brother type situation. Like you feel like
like they're always trying to watch and tell you what to do.
Yeah, it kind of feels like that.
No, sure, but I mean, me and James recently been out on the boat a bunch of times. We've gone by sheriff people on boats. They've never messed with us once. We've been out on a sailboat. We went out on the dinghy lot. We went island hopping. We've had no issues. We've gone by a lot of them. Honestly, they've all been super cool.
That's what I'm saying.
Even during all this stuff, because we've only been like a 2-3 person groups, small groups. We haven't been doing anything crazy. There's really nobody out where we're going. We're not going to like the sandbar on the weekend or something where it's like packed. And honestly, they've been leaving us alone, which has been pretty nice. So like, for the most part, it's kind of slowed stuff down a little bit, As long as they don't get you in trouble for being out and stuff, then, you're okay.
Like I said, the first group that passed me, the first group they waved to us, that, good morning and everything, it was like 7 o'clock in the morning, we were just outside super early. But that's why I feel like it's kind of up to the discretion. I feel like the federal government, and this is just my perspective on it, I do feel like sometimes, I feel like they should maybe be giving a little more direct and concrete directive across. I know it's hard with states' rights.
How you see it, whether you like big government or small government.
I prefer
small government, so I prefer them to let the governor deal with it. I mean, people have an issue with how our governor dealt with it, but I don't have an issue with it at all, because he put down his stay-at-home order. I have not seen any less people on the streets.
No, actually,
me and Dave were all out the week before where it was safer at home. We've been on the streets and on the boat where it's stay-at-home. There's the same quantity of people out, because
I think
you're still allowed to fish, you're still allowed to run, you're still allowed to go to restaurants and order out, you're still allowed to go to grocery stores. Those are all the things people are really doing.
Well, one of the biggest things with the order from the governor for the whole state was that they reintroduced religious gatherings as being essential services.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of county officials and government boards were really surprised at that because. I mean, that's a lot. It's hard to keep 6 feet away everybody in church.
In Tampa,
unless you're only going to have 25%. Attendance or whatever that is.
It's the whole thing. If you open one thing, everyone wants to go. So it's like,
and that's the thing. If everyone's going to be cooped up inside, the same way that you didn't want to have gyms open or you didn't want to have the beaches open because everyone was going to go there because they have nothing better to do. Well, I mean, why would that be any different? And I think another big thing that people were kind of upset about when that order came out for the governor was that there was just little communication. I read that as far as Pasco and Hillsborough counties, they had no idea that this was coming out. It was just kind of like, he issued one order the first day, and then the next day, just out of the blue, he ordered a lockdown order. So just it seems like the communication is strained for sure, and the confusion is definitely there across lots.
I mean, it's like everyone wants to have an answer, but nobody has an answer.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you guys. You think that nobody has an answer, dude. No government official has an answer. You think Donald Trump, you think the mayor has a medical degree and knows the answer. Do you even think the medical experts know what they're alive when this happened? This is something brand new. Nobody knows. Everyone's estimating, everyone's guessing, and doing their best. But it doesn't mean everyone has to do the same, or people have to vilify them for doing it slightly different.
And we have task force that are being put on this, and there are, obviously medical professionals that are being assigned to handle these task force and response teams. But I do think that, you're right. At the end of the day, it's there is no perfect answer for this. If you want a perfect answer, live your life in a bubble. That's the best way.
Everyone's
don't come in contact with anybody.
I don't think
completely, airtight seal yourself off in the world. You're probably not going to get any kind of sickness. But that, it's hard to, in today's day and age, you can't just fall off the grid.
I mean, it's kind of hard also too if you're. I speak. I feel like for a lot of independent business owners and entrepreneurs, creatives that I know, that it's kind of hard to just shut that off. Now, there's ways to create and there's ways to still run your business. Thankfully, we have the internet, and thankfully we talked about this a little bit in the beginning, but industries that aren't being hit as hard, and at least at the forefront of this, people who work in the digital space and the tech sectors. I know the tech sector, I watched on the news the other day, they're actually starting to cut jobs in some of the bigger tech hubs. However, though, if you're someone who does work independently or you own your own business, it's really hard to just tell someone like that, hey, you're just going to shut down. It's really hard, and I know a lot of business owners, even before Florida was issued with this lockdown, who were like, yeah, I'm going to lose 50,000, lose 100,000, I'm going to lose this over the course of the next even 2 weeks. And now we're looking at a whole month where they're expecting, just total shutdown. And even still, if you're someone who relies on your Amazon business, like I have a lot of people that I know, a lot of friends and colleagues who they have Amazon businesses, but right now Amazon is cutting back on where they're delivering. Essentials. So obviously it's going to have an impact on people's buying patterns. So I think in the coming weeks we're going to start to see digital take a slight hit, but I do feel fortunate personally that I'm able to create, I'm able to work on digital projects and still be relatively unaffected and also removed from it.
Well, for the most part, like they've allowed a lot of stuff to be considered essential.
Yeah.
Like I know people working from places, from restaurants to serve out, to liquor stores, like to any kind, like tons of different kinds of jobs. People doing debt collection still, like that's like super essential, and they're considering that essential. Working at smoke shops, considering that essential. Like these are things that you like, if you wouldn't. I wouldn't consider like essential to your life, like during like something crazy, and they're allowing them to stay open. So it's kind of like, all right, is there like what's changing? Like why even change it for the most part? I feel like the people who want to stay inside and want to quarantine and want to stay by themselves and are like worried about it and like worried about them getting it and spreading it or have a relative, they're staying inside. When we go out, we have been all over, but we haven't been encountering people per se. We'll stay together, go on the boat. We never come in contact with a group of people we don't know. Like we've been hanging out since before this started and while it's been going on. We hang out all the time, and when we go places out, it's like, we're getting food from somewhere, the same thing people are doing when they deliver it, except that's touching the people at the restaurant, then it's touching the Uber driver, it's touching the car of the Uber driver, then it's touching your front door, then it's touching you. So like, that's more than just us driving and going and getting it and stuff. So people that were like, stay at your house all the time, that's not much different than somebody going and picking up your food for you and then passing it to you. That's just another person touching it and stuff. Like, so when we go out, we don't really have much contact except with like a food worker or something. Even though we're going places, like people aren't necessarily going like, because there's no bars, they're not going and congregating with random people for the most part. The only place I've seen that is like a sandbar type thing on the weekends. People
and that's something specific like Florida.
It's a unique experience. Like people are doing that, it's way less. Like it's not the same number that it would.
It's not like you're gonna go to the Midwest and have a sandbar experience. Maybe with Jeeps or something.
I'm sure there's people meeting out there on farms and having bonfires and stuff all over the place, dude. Like it's just easier to get a picture here because all these people live here and like it's easy to take pictures of people on vacation. But like,
it's easy to put that on the news.
They're not just sitting in their house doing nothing, like they're hanging out. So like people are doing that. And like, I get people wanting to stay apart and stuff, and like I'm not gonna come in contact with anyone who doesn't want to come in contact.
Exactly. I think
that's really where I draw the line. I don't think I need to be locked down. But the people that I'm hanging out with are obviously comfortable hanging out with people who are going out and moving around. They know I'm going out. I'm not like hiding that I'm going around. They know. So when they come in contact with me, they know that I've been out and about. So they've been out and about as well. If they're not going near anyone susceptible, and I think that's fair enough. Like I don't necessarily think that everyone should be locked down just because a select population is like more worried about it than others. Like I feel like it's fair enough to let those groups who want to quarantine. Fair enough, your job should allow you to quarantine. Like you should keep your job. You should be able to stay off if you're uncomfortable and all that. But like if you are comfortable doing stuff, like you should be able to go do it, in my opinion, because I just don't see the point. Like I'm not vilifying you for wanting to sit in your house. You don't vilify me for just wanting to go out. Normally. Like I'm not coming to your house to encounter you or anything. Like I'm not gonna come in contact with you unless you come to me.
Well, I mean, we talked a lot about that because primarily, and if you watch my Instagram or my Snapchat, you see like I've been out and about too. Like I've been every single day. I'm still. I feel in a lot of ways. It's my responsibility as a business owner, as a creative, as an entrepreneur, as an artist to go out there, not necessarily coming in contact with people like you said. I'm not coming in contact with anyone, but I feel like it's a part of my process and my purpose in life, like to document, to see these things, to experience these things, to be a part of it, not away from it. I do want to be a part of it, and I do want to contribute to it. Obviously not hurting anyone, like you said. It's primarily been, I'd say, like me, you, Brandon, maybe a few other people that I've had contact with, Nita, my mom, but it's been the same group of people, maybe the same 5 people, and I'd say that holds true for all of us, right? Like I don't think any of us, James, like besides your family, like you're not like, I don't think we're not like out there walking amongst tons of people and congregating in areas, and it's not like we can do that anyway right now. So the danger I feel like it's posed to me is a lot less. Also, I mean, as the information continues to come out every single day with this, more and more information every day. That's probably the weirdest part, is that every day I feel like there's just another update. There's more information.
Well,
Well, because then
learning about it or something.
well, they'll say like, oh, you know, if you're a healthier person, I would say that's an overarching fact that seems to be something that all of the scientists and doctors keep saying. Like, if you're more healthy, if you have less predisposition to pre-existing conditions, all these sort of things, you're at much less of a risk than someone who has pre-existing
Well, I
conditions.
mean, that's just
if
true
you're
for
healthy.
any virus.
You know, exactly.
This is just a virus. I mean, this is the same thing. Yeah, you know, you can have somebody who's immunocompromised die from the flu. You can have someone who's not immunocompromised die from the flu. You can have a child die from the flu. You can have a baby die from the flu. So it's not weird that this thing is killing some people in those groups.
Yeah.
That's not
No. I would say this. I think we should also.
That's how these type of things work. But obviously, you're more likely if you do things that make smoke and your lungs are in terrible condition, or something that
healthy.
Yeah,
you have high cholesterol. You have bad lungs, whatever it might be, bad heart. Well, and I think it's also important for everyone that Tyler has a background in biochemistry and stuff. So this isn't just coming from a place like when we talk about these things, it's not coming from a place of just looking at a news report and making something up. I feel like because all of us do have strong opinions on this, and I think everyone probably does, right? The people out there.
I mean, what else do you have to do, dude? All you see is it everywhere. Where they're blowing up your phone, you're like, Amber Alert. They're like, no, stay 6 feet apart on a boat. Less than 10 people. You're like, dude, I'm not even on a boat. I'm at work. Like, dude, I wish I was on a boat. Like, what is this? Like, dude, you make me jealous right now. Who's on a boat? Like, jeez, man.
Well, you guys were on a boat.
I know, right? It was funny, dude. I had so many people hit me up then being like, oh man, I just got that alert. Like, what's going on? Like, that's funny.
No, it was crazy because when you guys were on that boat, like that morning I was editing photos, and like right when you guys were texting me and I was busy, I wasn't able to make it, but I remember right as that happened, the alert came out like, all people on boats, and I'm like,
we were going out, yeah.
Yeah, they were literally heading out at that moment. I was like, oh man, it's crazy. I mean,
it's interesting though. I mean, it's very weird, dude. I mean, like, I never thought I'd see it be like quite like this, let alone for something like a natural thing like this. Like, imagine if we were like bombed. Like, geez, man, we're getting locked down a lot for something. Imagine if like some real shit pops off, man. Like, it's gonna be a crazy time with how much is just being enacted over something like this, you know? Like,
and I feel like that's actually part of it. Is like we don't have situations like this that we can reference. I mean, what's the nearest thing to this? Maybe 9/11, where like we had such a devastating thing. Well, for at least us, we're fortunate in that. In our history of conflicts, and for a long time, we don't have to deal with war on our soil.
Yeah, on our soil.
We don't have. We're blessed to not have some of the same problems that other countries and other parts of the world have. But I definitely think that the lack of reference points is a huge part of why everyone seems to be kind of trying to make it up as they go. Because I think that is, and unfortunately, I think another thing that is just an unfortunate reality in this is that there is no one great answer. There's no perfect answer.
For sure.
Everyone is kind of putting out the best guess kind of thing. And then when I say best guess, obviously these are educated professionals.
Yeah.
Their best guess is humanity's best guess when they're putting that out there.
Yeah.
But what's the perfect thing? The perfect thing is don't go outside. Well, that doesn't work because, and especially we feel this in Florida because so much of our economy is based on tourism, based on service industry jobs, and that's industries that are being hit the most. I mean, this is a huge test across all jobs as to how well can we adapt, how well can you retool yourself and learn to work in force different, situations. But in certain respects, that can only go so far. Like you guys are saying, talking about restaurants that, you can still get takeout. Well, yeah, but there's one person working now to serve instead of the usual 5 or 6 servers. So those other 5 servers aren't getting any money right now.
And they're not getting a tip like that. It's different.
And even those people that are working, if they're working, well, that's great. You can still be providing takeout. But if no one goes out, which is the theoretical best solution, then then all of those places have to temporarily close. And while McDonald's and Burger King might be able to get away with that, any kind of small independent business, those aren't the kind of places that can afford to close. Just hit pause, pay 4 months of rent still, 5 months, 6 months, however long this may go for, and then just pick right back up and have their workers there ready to start back in and stuff. There's just realistic obstacles to yeah, it'd be great if nobody went out so nobody could catch it, but then would it be great if nobody had a job right now? No, it wouldn't.
Well, no, that's the thing. If you stop the economy completely, there's fallout from that too. Like there's fallout from a virus.
Well, I mean, I think
but if the virus goes down, there'll be fallout from this too. There'll be people who lose their life savings and kill themselves. There'll be people who go into deep depression. There'll be people who lose everything from this. A lot of people. This isn't just the virus is saving everyone if you stay inside.
Yeah.
The economic impact of people staying inside is going to have large, wide-scale impact across the world.
Yeah.
It's not just as simple as, oh my god, if we fix the virus and no matter where the economy is, we're fine. That's not how that works. Money, as much as it's just a thing, it's a real thing, and it runs how you get food in this world. Do you know anywhere where you can just go and catch free food and live for free? No. If you live in a place like this, you need money, you need an economic standing. You have to. That's how cities are built, and that's how we've created our world and our networks to work. If you're not that, you're ostracized and you're an outsider. If you're not making money and getting foods and products the way that the world gets them, you're on the outside of the world and you don't have much contact with people in general.
Well,
so
to iterate
it's
on
gonna
that,
have an impact regardless.
I would say from the beginning that was actually personally my biggest fear, and I haven't publicly stated this, but for me, when this whole thing started to take off, that was immediately where my head went, and I was the economic implications for this and the fallout from this is going to be, in my opinion, I feel much broader and has a much greater chance of causing even more harm, I feel than the virus itself. Because, now don't get me wrong, the virus is going to do a lot of bad things, and I'm not undermining or seeking to say the virus is any less severe than it is, but I think that the implications and the fallout from this is going to be felt for years. Not because, Tyler talked on, we talk about suicide and depression, all these things, and I think our president, I think Trump even talked about that in one of his conferences or one of the things that he gave, where he was man, the fallout from this, from a depression, the suicides that could happen, from the economic fallout could be, the economic impacts could be far greater than even just the virus itself. And so then do we start taking into account, when we talk about death tolls and we talk about the toll it's taken on the economy, do we start taking those numbers into calculation when it comes? I mean, I don't want to see that happen, but that could just be something that just happens naturally as a result of this whole entire thing going down. I hope that the federal government and our local governments and our state governments can help mitigate some of that, but I mean, that's definitely been my number one fear from the beginning. All right, we're back for second half. So when we left the first half, Tyler just got up to get a drink. Me and James were kind of talking about the economic implications of the coronavirus and really, what could be happening over the next couple of years. Although it's really hard to say because no one really knows how long, this is going to take, or what the long-term fallout's going to be, and really what, how everything's going to end. So kind of want to talk about what we're going to be doing for the next 27 days. Was it the third? Yes, 27 days.
Probably where I've lost time. They've trapped me in a prison cell in my own home and I can't get out.
That's what all the memes online are saying. Everyone's like, oh, I'm stuck, I'm losing track of the days. I'll be honest, when you wake up and you look over at your phone, it tells you what day and what time and everything. Everybody's got an iPhone. Everybody's like, man, I'm losing track of the days. No, you're not. No, you're not. Stop. Don't play yourself.
What's today?
No, I don't know. I think it is probably very weird for some people. It's almost like a dream. If you're used to working 5 days a week, and then all of a sudden you don't have more work, or even if you are still working, you're working from home, and that's for a lot of people a new thing too, to not be in the office, and it almost feels, I don't know, probably a little just dissociative. Being, having to continue on like normal, but definitely not being in a normal environment.
Well, that's a good thought, James, because Jamal, I know one of our close friends, he is working from home, and I was talking to him the other day on Instagram about that. He messaged me
down in the DMs.
Down DMs, and I'm very used to working from home. That's pretty much half of what I've done for the majority of my career. It's you work from home, or pretty much as long as I have a computer, you work from anywhere. So the people who are working from home, it's definitely got to feel very surreal, especially in a place where they've been, they're used to going in. And honestly, I'd like to think, I don't know, because I'm a little bit far removed from it, because I'm not in that space right now, but it seems like they've mobilized that really quickly. Businesses who didn't have the majority of their employees working from home have somehow figured out how to do that exponentially fast. And I've seen even a few people post online, a few business owners, man, after this whole thing's over, I don't know. I might very much consider my employees, a lot of them working remotely, ongoing now, just because of the amount of efficiency I think I'm seeing. Now, that'll all remain to be seen. We're still very early on, but like, I think for businesses especially, like, you know, even though as surreal as it's gonna be, it's kind of almost like a forced test. It's kind of like a forced test. You know, can we be more efficient sitting at home? Can you be just as efficient sitting from home? Are your employees and you know, the people that work for you, is everyone going to be able to remain that efficient?
Well, it depends which thing you're speaking of efficiency. Efficiency for the company or efficiency for the employee doing the job. Efficiency for the company, sure, if you don't have to pay for space, electricity, the internet, if everyone has to sit at their house, pay for their own internet, their own electricity using, you no longer have an office where people have to congregate, where you have to, you know, buy snacks, pay huge leads and stuff. Yeah, it's beneficial to the company, but if it doesn't trickle back down to the employees, then it's lost because they miss out on a lot of opportunity to like network with people in person. It's different working with people in person and working in an office space, getting out of your house to do something like that, and going to an office where there is perks to going into an office. And it costs the company money to give you those perks, but that's part of like deciding where you work and things like that. Yeah. So like, it can be good, but if they were to just, you know, decide that working at home is best for their bottom line and like not redistribute that to people who are then having to spend more money on their own, you know, home setups and, you know, their own situation, then like it'd be efficient for them to make money, but is it efficient for everyone else, you know? So you gotta, it's fine line, you know, they'll have to walk if they decide to let people work at home more. Because I know right now I feel like efficiency is probably down on an overall scale because of working at home. And that might just be because people are just learning how. But it could also be because people aren't optimized to work at home. Some people are better off being in office, and a lot of people would prefer.
There are a lot of people who require, who their personality type requires that they need to be around somebody. They need that initiative given to them. Or they need that direction, sort of helping them to move forward and get those things done.
And being around those people in that area gets you in that state of mind, right? Like changing where you are and stuff can change your state of mind, you know. And that's the same thing we were talking about the other day with like gyms and stuff.
Oh man,
you know, like we were talking about home gyms and like regular gyms, and we were like, you know, there's something totally different, and like you can get a different workout when you go in public, whether it's even at a park or a gym. You work out harder than typically like when I work out in a home gym, even if it's a nice home gym and stuff. There's a lot more time to just like, if no one's around and stuff, just like relax and like go slower. Whereas when you're in a public gym, I feel like I overall push harder in a public space in general for some reason. Like something about getting out of the house and getting in a different zone when you go to that area is different, you know, than like when you try to work out just in your house, which is like what we're having to do now.
Oh no, I mean it's
6 weeks, bro. Everyone, oh my gosh, dude.
Everyone's about to lose 20. No, exactly. I feel like everyone's gonna lose any major lifters or any major gym. They're gonna lose like 20 to 40%.
Dude, they're just gonna have to sneak to those CrossFit gyms.
I'm telling you, those warehouse gyms for sure.
Gyms, man, are
but
on point
it's been. I agree. That has been the strongest, the toughest thing for me mentally.
I mean, to shut down something that's good for your health, you know, it's like it's tough. I mean, everyone. Yeah. You know, it's a slippery slope, but
well, that's where like I started when we talk about public health. To me, that's an essential. Like my mental state and my physical health, all of that is definitely affected by that. So I do feel like, you know, I feel personally like gyms should be classified as an essential. Although I do also
they kept a small limit, and you just had to schedule when you went or something.
Yes,
like
schedule.
book when you go, and there can only be 15 people in this whole gym at that time. And like if you're not first come first serve, either for that hour block or like register online or like do something where like you get a chance to go. Because if so many people are afraid of this virus, like they're saying, and want to stay at home, like everyone's trying to say, then there shouldn't be that many people going to the gym. Well, there shouldn't be that many people going if this many people want to stay at home.
So the first week when it started happening, before they issued the quarantine, all the people in my gym personally were all the regulars. It was all the same people we always see. So there wasn't a single person in the gym that wasn't a regular or wasn't there every day. And we were all like, man, this is, you know, we were all remarking at how wild this is. And we were like, well, I guess we're all we feel safer though. Everybody at the gym felt safer because they were like, well, we're all the same people. We all see each other. Like no one here is like, you know, from the outside, so to speak. So for that reason, my gym owner, at least the local gym I go to, he stayed open a little longer than almost every other gym until the state government made him shut down.
Yeah, and I get it's a safety thing, but at the same time, like I'm not interacting with you at the gym if you do not want to interact with me. You know what I'm saying? Like I will not be there. I'm not going to see you at the gym unless you're also out and about, you know, like and coming in contact with me. Like that's the only way. And that would only be people I know, which would have accepted the risk, know what I'm doing. You know, there are people I know, close to family and friends that know me. Yeah, so it's like at that point I don't really see the big issue. Like I see why they're trying it, but to a certain degree, I think it should be like up to a personal choice in a certain case.
I mean,
where it's a little bit too much like forced with like stuff like that. Like I think that should be a personal choice. If this many people are afraid to go, that's great. Then not that many people will go. So I don't understand how.
Well, I mean, it was already, like I said, it was a very thin crowd when I went. It was just my regulars, the people who are, their lifestyle is this. Their lifestyle is we go to the gym, we eat healthy, all these things. It's not your person who shows up 2 times a week. Those people,
and also I feel like they just assume that people are just gonna totally be stupid in those situations and show up sick and stuff to the gyms. And when this is going around, but I feel like people understand how serious it is without them having to shut everything down or like shutting it down for another month. To where like if you were sick and stuff, I didn't go to my gym when this was first starting. Nobody when I went to my gym was like sick, and I know you can pass it without being sick, but like that means anyone can pass it to anyone. Like it doesn't matter if you're at the gym or not.
Even when we were there, my gym owner, when I was there, he had a guy coming in, and it seemed like every couple hours, like cleaning everything.
No, I feel like that was a big thing. The gyms didn't want to have to pay somebody to keep cleaning and stuff. Like they would rather just leave it. They could have someone like cleaning extra and taking up a grocery. I mean, grocery stores have thousands of people going through them every day and like touching things, and like somebody touched it to put that food in that basket that shipped it to the store. Somebody taped that box. That box went in a truck. Somebody unloaded it from a truck. Somebody unloaded it off a pallet onto a float. Someone took a float and put it onto the shelf. Then people pick stuff off from the shelf and put it back on the shelf. All day long, dude. Like that's a lot of people touching it. It's not like you're not touching anybody by going to the grocery store, no matter how much they clean or anything. There's so many people in the assembly line touching these things throughout the world. Like you think these are things that are coming from nowhere? Like people are touching these all the way down the line. You know what I'm saying? And like you don't know who. Not everyone doing that's gonna be in quarantine because we can't. We have to go to work to do that. So like just by that, we're not in quarantine. Just by that, you're out in the world because you're working in order to put things on the shelf. But when you do that, you're touching it. So like whatever's with you or whatever's with anyone can like go to them. So it's just there's no way to really like fully escape it. I feel like we're trying to act like we can just like sit inside and it will just go away or something. But like this takes a long time, and a vaccine's gonna take a long time to get approved. It's not like we're gonna approve one in a month or 2, or like after this is over. Like it's gonna take at least like months, if not a year or so. Like it's gonna take a while to do something like that. So like a 1-month ban, I don't think necessarily helps us just like eradicate. Like I don't think we're gonna eradicate it. I just don't think that's how it's gonna work. I think you're gonna get it in doses, and hopefully your body gets an immune response without having symptoms. And if not, you're going to get it like you do other viruses. And it will mutate over time just like the flu. Next year it could be a different version of this same thing.
I think CNN and them already, the news organization, they already said like 2021 there's going to be another strain of this already coming back out.
So it's one of those things that like we can try to deal with, but at the same time, we can't just like shut everything down to try to deal with it.
And I think the gist of what you're getting at is kind of a dilemma between, the rights of the individual versus the greater good of society, or however you want to phrase that. And I do think it is kind of a struggle right now between those two. Because like you're saying, I think the idea between shutting down gyms, shutting down all these areas where people congregate, there's the argument that you're saying as to if I want to take a risk, then that should be my right. And then the other flip side of that coin is, well, we don't want to give you the choice because if you're stupid, that we don't want to deal with the fallout because the main thing that people are worried about now are we going to have enough rooms in the hospitals? Are we going to have enough ventilators or respirators? And I think there's a huge outpouring of support and effort all across different industries. People retooling to help produce these things that are limited quantity or strong need for these things, the tests, the masks, all those supplies. I think that's a really good outpouring of support. But I think at the end of the day, they're just trying to make the better decision for you. And there is an argument there that can be had as far as do we want to give the right to that? Do we want to? Do we want the people and the higher powers that be able to dictate in times of crises like this, or do we want to be able to rely on our own?
I think in America we should more so rely more on our independence. Because I don't necessarily believe that the people that we have elected or in positions are the smartest people. Like I don't necessarily think that's true. Politics is not the game of who's the smartest person in each position. That's not how it works. And so like the world doesn't always run that way. There's more than just the right answer that's getting pushed. There's more than a message that's the right answer. There's the message they want to push, and sometimes it's the right thing, and sometimes it's just the message that they want to push because like that's what they want to do. It's not because it's necessarily the best thing for people. And so I'm not the type of person who just like trusts that they know exactly what they're doing and have everyone's best interest in mind and stuff like that. So like I prefer to take everything and instead of hearing it and using someone else's like opinion as my opinion, I prefer to just look at everything and make my own opinion of it, you know, which is what I'm doing with this, you know. And I mean, it's definitely, I'm glad everyone's outpouring, I'm glad everyone's helping. That's going to be needed. I mean, it's a new virus, so you're going to have that. But at the same time, like, I don't think it's fair to shut everyone down. Like, I totally get it if you're uncomfortable and stuff, but like to shut everything down is just a lot to me. Like, it's just a lot.
Yeah.
And if there's so many people who want to stay inside, then like I believe they're going to stay inside. So like I haven't seen anything change. Like I was saying, since they put the order in place, that's like I haven't seen a difference because they're leaving places open. You know,
Well,
so it's like
I've seen more people since the
Yeah,
order was
I mean-
put in place. What is this? Today's now Friday. It was technically went into effect last night at 12:01.
seems like people want.
I
to
saw
get out
more
and, like,
people
want to go
outside
do stuff.
Wednesday through Friday now than I did, you know, the prior week.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no order yet. That was
Yeah.
it was just like they had asked everyone to stay at home. So like, and even if you go outside right now, I mean, I can see it from here.
Yeah,
The
there's
traffic
a lot of
is
traffic.
there's a lot of traffic. Like, so I don't think that. I think that. You know, and I'm reading more news reports too that are coming out where they're interviewing now different pockets of people like construction workers. I think I told you about that right before we started. It was like I read an article this morning about like a lot of the construction workers I noticed even here in Florida, a lot of them were still working. Every construction site I drove by, they're still working sites, and apparently that's across the country. The majority of them, and I'm quoting this, I think it was a Vice article I'm quoting here. I don't want to quote, but it was loosely like literally they said this is horseshit. Like that was how a lot of the construction workers were looking at it as, hey, I need to get out here, I need to be working, I need, you know, this is how I support my family. And
Well,
at the
yeah.
same time, they had that good old boy type of like mentality, like we're gonna work through this and we can't stop building. We're not gonna stop building America, we're not gonna stop building what we have here.
No, I mean, it's a weird time, and like I get it, but I just, and more so than anything, it isn't that I have an issue. Like I'm following the rules. Like I mean, we just hang out with a small group of people and doing stuff. So like I'm not breaking any of the rules, or else you know you'd be getting in trouble. So I'm not doing anything wrong. But I just feel like to a certain degree, there's like one opinion that like, you have to do this, and then everybody vilifies anyone who wants to do anything different, and that's wrong.
Agreed.
That's like. That doesn't, you know, like that's not the right way to go about it. Like there's different ways that different people see things, and to try and vilify people because they want to go out or they think it's okay to go out or they're doing this or they're doing that and you're sitting at home, like that's just doesn't make any sense to me. That's just like divisive and like we're not, you know, people who are going out aren't sitting and saying like we hate you for staying home, like you shouldn't be staying home, like you should be working. If you're uncomfortable, stay home. But like don't be trying to villainize everyone who's going and like getting out and like going to parks and wanting to go to the beach to like work out and run and swim and do all these things that are like active part of their lifestyle. Just because you're used to sitting at home or you're fine with sitting at home doesn't mean that everyone is. And so like to vilify everyone who wants to do that as like this is the whole issue, this is the issue, like it's not. We were going to be quarantined and locked down for this month regardless of whether a couple people went to the beach or a couple people went on boats. That's not what it has to do with. I don't have it, he doesn't have it, we're fine. So we're not the ones that are sitting here making the issue. It's everybody. It's just it's a worldwide thing. It's been spreading around the world. It's not just a few people who are going out and doing things that are causing it right now. It's just going to happen. Like we were going to be under this. Is the only way to try and flatten it out from what they say.
Yeah.
So it's not those people. So there's no reason to like vilify people who are just going out and going about doing things just because they're not staying at home the whole time.
The other side of it is too, and I don't know how you guys both feel about this, but like, I mean, the thing to come to terms with is that it's kind of just like a cold, I would imagine, right? It's kind of like it's flu. No. I'm saying that you're going to get it. It's something that at some point everyone is going to have to contract.
You'll at least be exposed to it.
Yeah, you'll at least be exposed to it. So I'm of the opinion that the same way I expose myself to like, you know, we go outside and we're around germs all the time. If you don't expose yourself to those, you never develop antibodies to fight them. So people like, I mean, I understand people who are germaphobes and I understand people who take extra precaution. I get it. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. But there is something to be said. That's how we've evolved as human species. That's how we've evolved antibodies for the common cold. Is by exposure to it over millennium and in time. So, you know, I've read many things that say the same thing, that, hey, this is a virus just like anything else. All of us eventually are going to, humans, this isn't just like America, the world, everyone at some point might contract this, and then we're just going to develop antibodies, and it's called evolution. You know, this is just how it goes, and it's honestly kind of, this might sound a little crazy now, and because it's kind of a turbulent time, but you might be even fortunate to be able to say you lived through something like this and to be around to see something like this and to be experiencing it. I hope, honestly, it's going to make people develop a greater level of empathy and understanding for how, like, we are here on this rock, and we are here together, and you know,
I guess we'll see.
This is something
it'll definitely change some stuff for sure. I mean, regardless, like it'll definitely change some stuff. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see, you know, because like everyone right now is like, oh, very like, oh man, like, everyone stayed inside. Like, I care so much about everyone around. But then, you know, when we're in real life, you see people cussing people out in a parking lot.
Yeah.
You know, getting mad at fucking someone in line for going so slow, like stuff like that. You know, and like those things happen every day. So you know, it's like two sides of the coin. You know, like which one do you want to do? Do you want to be empathetic? Do we want to be like act like we're a humankind, we're with each other, or do we not? I mean, I just heard something about like 3M or whatever. They were like making their masks or whatever, selling them to distributors, and they were just selling them to the highest bidder. So none could get to the U.S. medical workers or anything because international buyers were like buying them for higher bidding prices or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so apparently that became like a huge thing, and like the U.S. government's gonna like come down on them and like for doing that because apparently like that's not okay to do. Like so. It's interesting to see, you know, people's greed and stuff is still there. You know, like it's just hidden under for a little while we try to like have these companies fake their way through supporting their employees, you know, and the other half hopefully actually supporting the employees. So like, I mean...
Well, I've seen a lot of outspoken entrepreneurs, like people literally, I mean, I've seen some, especially in the tech and digital space. I will say, shout out to my tech and digital space people, because I've seen you guys defending, you know, your employees a ton. I'm sure there's other industries too, so I'm not excluding you. But I know in the tech and digital space, which is my space, I've seen a lot of people outpouring, like, if you're making your employees come to work and, you know, you're working in the digital space, you work in the advertising space, pretty much just saying you're a POS. Like, you there's no need. Your employees and the people that, you know, you hold responsibility to, they can do these jobs completely remotely. In fact, there's tons of companies who have transitioned to that. So I do see a lot of those people people being outspoken about that, advocating for more of that to keep people, you know, I guess away from each other for the duration of the month. But for me, because I've already been now 2 weeks into this, and I started, you know, I guess the way I started dealing with it was I was doing art, photography, and then trying to catch up on all my client work. Mm-hmm. So I know a lot of people are dealing, maybe not necessarily creators themselves at heart or what have you, but I know that there's a lot of people, and I've seen it even the last like 3 days, like, man, this is week 2, I'm done, I'm so bored, I have nothing to do, what am I gonna do? For me, I don't, like personally, it's hard for me to relate to that, so I feel like I wanna talk a little bit about, you know, how we can, what we're all doing to use our time indoors or maybe while we're a little more isolated. For me, I mean, I look to like doing stuff like this, like podcasting or, you know, doing a piece of art or doing something.
I see benefit in doing useful, like physically constructive things like that, and like building something. And then I also see benefit in just like relaxing and gathering yourself to a certain degree. I mean, when else do you think you're gonna have the opportunity to have the time, you know, like quite like this, you know, where everything's slowed down a little bit and everything is just, you know, under review kind of like, so you have a chance to kind of sit back and relax and kind of just look at everything, see how you feel about everything. And like when the world, you know, like starts to refresh and stuff, there's gonna be a lot of shuffling of like jobs and stuff just based on the layoffs and different people getting hired here and there. And so it gives you a lot of time to just think about, you know, what you want to do or where you want to be afterwards or whatever. I mean, you don't necessarily have to do something physically constructive, but I want to get a paddleboard. Kind of sounds cool.
Yeah.
So that'd be something physical.
No, I mean, no, totally.
That'd be kind of cool. I haven't been on a paddleboard in a long time. So
physically or mentally.
Yeah, I mean, get out on the water, kind of do something, you know, or like play a sport. I mean, we've been going boating and sailing. Yeah. So like that's something. Get out there. We've been like island hopping, seeing different places. Just something. I mean, it's far away from people. And it's something to do. I mean, most people, I guess, if you don't have access to a boat, it makes it a little tough. But
or if you're landlocked.
If you're landlocked, like sure. I mean, yeah. But sometimes they have like forests and stuff. That'd be kind of cool. We can't really go hiking.
We can't really go hiking. They did have that in our language, but we can't really go hiking around here.
We
we're in
can't
the
go
city.
hiking.
It's not really like.
And I think that's an interesting thing that's really come out of this. You know, I think any other time that, you know, you gave someone the opportunity to be like, hey, go work from home for a couple months and, you know, make it work. People be like, that's great, fantastic. Like, no commute, don't have to deal with nobody, living on my terms. But the minute that they tell us, you know, oh, you gotta stay indoors, it's like, oh, I gotta get outside, man. You get cabin people real quick as soon as it's not your choice to watch Netflix all weekend in bed.
Well, bro, it's like that feeling of like if you were in prison, bro, and you couldn't open the door. Like you're fine being in your house with the door locked.
Yeah,
but if that was a prison door with the door locked, you'd feel a lot different. You know, the idea like you can't walk out, you can't do the things you want to do. makes you want to do them more. I feel like that's just human nature.
Yeah, no,
Like, humans always want to like push the bounds of like what's allowed and what's not.
Yeah.
That's
And I think it's
That's just
part
one
of it,
unique
you know, the part of, you know, everybody arguing for advocating for staying inside and for not being out, you know, unless you're essential. I think that's pretty much it. You know, people are still out because, you know, they've been deemed essential. Those are most of the only businesses that are open these days are the ones that are essential to society. But, you know, I think that people are trying, you know, you do have to go out. I don't think anyone's trying to act like you don't have to go get groceries at some point. You don't have to go out and do errands, you know. You can't just live from home as connected as we are in today's world. So I think people are trying to keep it to a minimum because, you know, obviously, like you guys are saying, that there's no way to not get. It's one of those things that everyone kind of like the flu or whatever, it's going to make its way around, and because nobody has any kind of a immunity to it, everyone is going to get it to some degree. And I think that they're kind of just trying to bottleneck it right now. That's like the main argument for staying inside. Is like we know everyone's going to get sick at some point, but we don't want everyone to be sick at the same time.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So I get that, but I do think there is a lot to be said as far as you know, what's the point of having essential businesses open if no one's going to go to them? Then they're just going to
that's what I'm saying. It's
all
kind of like a
close.
catch-22. It's kind
And
of.
I think it's going to be interesting to see when it all shakes out. You know, the biggest losers in this are going to be local and small businesses.
Yeah.
Because
No question.
when these businesses do have to close or when they do see these major reduction in sales, because even the people that are out, you know, it's not nearly, it's fractions, pennies on the dollar.
I mean,
of
what?
you were
We
making
were talking
before.
to one restaurant manager, so they were making 18 grand a night before, and then
went to
$400
$400
a
a day.
day.
$400 or $500, unbelievable.
Yeah,
And you know, in Florida, we're going to feel that pretty strongly because you know, so much of our economy and so much of our income and businesses are dependent on you know, the service industry, tourism, things like that. And when you just cut that off, I mean, that's a huge shockwave. And you know, these small businesses can't afford to shut down and reopen in 3 months.
Well, they a lot of times
can't pay 3-4 months of rent without having the income that they're used to, and then just get back to, you know. So it'll be interesting to see if any kind of policies come out on that front for relief. You know, we've already seen some small business loans and grants that have been you know, dictated from the national level. So that'll be interesting. But I think you will see a lot of those local and small businesses that just won't be able to continue, you know, and it will open up spaces later.
Yeah, it's going to open up
for
space.
new businesses, kind of like you're saying. It'll be interesting to see what new opportunities are out there from the market, and it hurts right now, definitely. But you know, so a lot of people argue. I mean, in America, we're supposed to have the most free market, free economy. You know, obviously we have antitrust regulations and things like that, but I mean, this really is, you know, just the market being the market.
Sure.
Everyone's dealing with the same kind of fallout right now, and everyone's going to have to either navigate it or, you know, drop out or come back in, or you know, the market plays its way.
Oh, so I had a question for both of you. What's your opinion on pineapple on pizza? Because I know the viewers would want to know.
I think we talked about this the first podcast. Like I think we didn't talk about pineapple on pizza, but you asked me some weirdo questions like this.
Yeah, so what do you think about that? What's your opinion on pineapple on pizza? I'm sure people would love to know.
So I'm not like a huge fan of it personally.
Alright, he's not a fan.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
I don't mind pineapple on pizza, but I just hate too many toppings on pizza. I feel like
What about
What's your max?
just
What's the
you can't
max?
overload a pizza.
What's the max amount of toppings though?
Man, it depends. Like if you do them right, you can get like maybe like 4.
What if that's double ham?
But normally
double
maybe like 2
pineapple?
or less.
I'd agree with. I'd agree. I like 3. 3's like.
What about the pineapples? You can do it?
I'll do it as long as like it doesn't conflict with
Yeah,
anything
no,
else.
I mean,
You know,
I'm not
gonna do
saying I
pineapple
won't.
and sardines.
Like if I go to like a pizza party, you know what I'm saying, or like a big corporate event, they always have like tons of pizza.
Yeah.
I'll probably pick up like one thing with some tropical fruit on it, you know.
I got you. Alright.
Just even
so I got
out,
another
you know.
question then. Alright. So what do you guys think about this stimulus thing?
I don't know, man. I guess we'll see what happens. I mean,
Do you got any idea of like what you're gonna spend it on when you get it? What you're gonna do with it? What do you want to do?
I'm
with
not
it?
even thinking about if I'm gonna get it or not. They say. I heard on the radio this morning too. They said that it'll be like a direct deposit.
Yeah, I think they already did.
Oh,
they
yeah,
already
you're
passed
definitely
it.
gonna get
Yeah,
mine.
definitely gonna get it. 100%.
I think like you have to have it. It's definitely, especially like what we were talking about before, all these industries that, you know, through no control of theirs, there's just no work right now.
Well,
Yeah.
You have to have some kind of an injection of economic
Oh,
relief.
for sure. I just like am not like. I don't expect, like, if it didn't come through, I'm not, like, expecting it to come through. But, I mean, I heard that they passed the bill, I heard it was supposed to, all of that, but, like,
What
I'm
do
not
you
really
do?
counting on it, I'm acting as if it kind of doesn't
kind of
exist.
thing? What are you
Pay
gonna do
off
with it?
bills, man. That's
Pay
what
off
I'm
bills?
doing.
What do you think about doing with it?
I mean, I don't know. I have some projects that, like, I'm working on, so I'll probably, like, pay off some stuff, and then...
Buy some razors, shave that face.
Yeah, right.
The month is over.
We all have to, no, after this, yeah, definitely buy some razors, because also, like, this month I am going the entire month. I'm gonna try to go the entire month without shaving like this.
Yeah.
I can touch up my neck, but, like, I'm
Well,
not
I
gonna
heard
try
you
to touch
can't wear the
this.
masks if you don't shave, you know, like
Really?
Yeah, because the mask can't fit like
Oh yeah, you
form-fitted.
do. You have to have like a very close
Like,
shave.
well,
Yeah.
I'm, like, planning on, like I said, I've been pretty much, like, locked in here, so, like, I don't plan on, like, going too many places. I mean, I'm gonna go around and do the things I need to do, but I pretty much
Yeah,
can
man,
still
once
stay locked in and just
Once
work.
the barber's off lockdown, I'm definitely gonna have to hit him up.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the barber next week.
No, next week for sure. And that's one thing I don't think. I was one of the same thing. I'm like, you can't. That's to me an essential. Like that's hygiene, right? Like
I don't know. I actually don't know. Everything seems to be essential, like we were saying right now. Like places can just deem themselves, but I don't know if it's gonna become stricter or not. I really don't know.
I mean, I don't really. I mean,
All I know is that we gotta find some stuff to do in the meantime.
like
I was
what?
thinking about doing a puzzle.
You're gonna
A
do a
big puzzle. Like I don't know. Like what's a big puzzle? 10,000 pieces? Is that a big puzzle? That'd
I
be a
mean,
hard puzzle, right?
But now we have to find a place to get the puzzle. Everything's closed.
I know.
For the most
we,
part.
we gotta find a place. I'm sure there's some place with puzzle. Walmart has puzzles, big puzzles.
Amazon probably might deem that like an essential. I don't
No,
really know if they
I don't
would or
think
not.
puzzles
but-
are essential. Only if you're out of toilet paper. I heard puzzle
Well, no.
pieces are, you
So
know,
question.
10th on the
I don't
list
know.
of backup
Question.
plans.
No, I have a question. So
After
the people
corn
online
cobs.
might know, because I don't know. Like, if you order something in like a bunch of stuff, like say you order like toilet paper
Yeah,
and
sure.
some essentials, but then you order like some books or some
Yeah.
art pieces or some electronic products,
Yeah.
whatever, video game.
Uh-huh.
Are they? If you order that together, will they ship that to you?
Oh,
Oh,
like-
interesting.
well,
so like by
yeah, like
ordering,
adding
toilet paper.
Like
to your
somebody
cart,
gotta let me
you
know
can,
because
like,
I thought about
expedite
that
it.
because like I need to get like a new light set and a few other things,
Right.
and so I was like, man, what if I order some essentials? Will they ship all of it together? Because it's
You
one
should
big
just
order.
call up Jeff Bezos and see what he says.
I unfortunately don't have that access yet. Jeff.
Pretty
Get out
sure
of here.
he's on quarantine from anybody.
Oh,
that
no,
he doesn't
for
wanna
sure.
talk to.
He's living life, bro.
Oh, always. I mean,
That's gotta be nice, man. I mean, like with this quarantine, it's just gotta be so much better when you have a way bigger house or apartment or whatever with all these luxuries.
You definitely have more things
You know,
to do.
if you're rich and you get quarantined, it's just so much.
well, I mean, if you
more
have a
things to do.
compound too, especially
Yeah.
like man, like when we went to Tennessee, like that compound up in the mountains, I probably would not be mad. Like that thing
Oh,
had
you have
a
a
movie
movie
theater,
theater,
it had
jacuzzis and
jacuzzis.
stuff.
Like the only thing was missing was the fitness room wasn't fully built out, but there was a fitness room in there. I mean, you had like to even get up to it was like almost what was it like? It was it was a crazy long drive. It was like a 100-yard driveway up a steep incline. Like it was a hard thing to even get up there. There was a gate. You were pretty much locked out from everybody, and you were like 2,200 feet up in the mountains. So like if you were somewhere like that right now, and you were like stocked up with stuff, you'd be getting some stuff that I'm actually really, I'm really amped up for is again like all the creative people, all the entrepreneurs, all the things that are going to come out while people are locked down. This morning I woke up, there was like 6 new albums out or mixtapes from different artists.
Really?
Oh yeah, and so I'm sure that that's like just gonna go into overdrive, or there's just gonna be a ton of stuff built up over that time. I mean, what
I
else
guess
do
we'll
you
see.
have
I
to
mean,
do?
they released. Cool thing, they released some of those like movie theater movies online, stuff for people to watch. So maybe artists are like
Yeah.
releasing stuff a little earlier, just because they know people will like have time to pay attention
Well,
to
I've
it.
seen all kinds of different services are releasing stuff that's free of charge, like kind of to help the relief and kind of like as a
To promote
get
it.
a taste and
Yeah,
then
for
come back
sure,
to
yeah.
us when you can pay for a subscription kind of
For
thing.
sure.
But I know HBO has put out a bunch of free stuff, and William Lloyd Webber, the dude that does all the producing of musicals and
Mhm.
Broadway shows and stuff, he put out a bunch of his work for free for people to watch. Just because
Yeah.
Corona cabin fever is gonna, it's real, man. I mean, that's one of the unfortunate things. We talk so much about not wanting to get physically sick with the corona,
Yeah.
but it takes a mental toll to be inside,
For sure.
and all these people that are definitely doing what they think is right by staying inside. They gotta be careful of still keeping getting the outside every once in a while and
Yeah.
not getting too cooped up inside and too isolated.
Well,
Yeah,
along
it's a
with
real
those,
thing.
along with that, like online right now, like Udemy and all of the online courses, along with the free content that tons of like entertainers are giving out and Netflix and all that, they're uploading like new stuff. Photoshop and a lot of these online, Nikon just opened up, like you can take all their online classes for free right now. So if you're like looking to get into
Oh
photography,
yeah, dude.
you
Prime
can take,
time to like get into a new hobby
Yeah.
or learn a new skill.
tons.
That's something that
tons
I've
of
seen
stuff.
pushed a lot too, like on LinkedIn and stuff. When you're scrolling through your feed, everyone's talking about like, man, you got all this downtime, like learn something. Especially like if your industry is taking a huge like dive right now. It's, you know, everything will recover in time, but what not
Yeah.
right away.
It's
not even 1 year, not even maybe 3 or 5 years. Eventually, like for
Yeah.
everything to come back to the way it was before, or however close we're gonna get. There's going to be a lot of in-between time between now and then. So learning to do something between now and then is definitely better than, sitting still. Because sitting still, you're going to get washed away by the tide.
No, I think the people who stay busy, who keep their minds and bodies working during it, those people are going to always come out on top. I mean, it's really what you do with the time. It's all what you do with
for
it.
sure.
There's not, I mean,
I
it's just what
definitely
you do
want
with it.
the best for everyone and whatever.
I do
Whatever
too.
gives them that peace of mind and makes them feel the most comfortable.
Yeah, whether that's
So
chilling,
be
whether
it.
it's relaxing, whether it's
Whatever it
doubling
is.
down on learning new stuff, whatever they want to do. I definitely
thing.
support it. Yeah. So we're getting ready to close this out. We're getting ready, coming up on the hour, real soon. Yeah, we're coming up on it. We're about to be.
Look at that.
Yeah. I know you guys got to get out of here soon, so we should probably wrap it
Yeah,
up.
we have
soon.
very busy schedules during this
Yeah.
coronavirus.
Yeah, very incredibly
Booked,
busy.
back, wall
Yeah,
to wall.
wall to
okay,
wall,
to
just
wall.
schedules fully booked. Now,
Yeah. So on a serious note, though, everyone. On a serious note, it's serious out there. I realize that things are uncertain. It's very uncertain times. So just be safe out there. Take care of you and your loved ones. Be kind to one another. Don't go out there and be rude to other people. Spend time with your family and friends. Cherish this time. Be grateful for all that you have. And just try to do the best you can. And we're gonna get through this one way or another. We're gonna get through this together. We're strong as Americans. We're strong as a country. We're strong as a human race. So let's just get out there and let's just make it happen. Let's keep pushing. Let's not stop. And I'm gonna see y'all on the other side of this. So I'll see y'all later.
Peace out.
Later.